Right, a short while ago, we brought you the President addressing lawmakers live from London in Westminster. Cyril Ramaphosa saying that the relationship between the UK and South Africa had transformed. It had its ups and downs, but they were seeking a shared desire for equality and human rights, modernising this relationship, calling on the UK to help South Africa as it calls on transformation in terms of the UN or financial institutions. Now, earlier, King Charles was hosting the first state visit since becoming the British monarch, welcoming our president to Buckingham Palace. Let's cross to London, where we find SABC News' political editor, Mzwandile Mbeje. Mzwa, thank you for being with us. Let's start with the address to lawmakers tonight. A standing ovation, so I guess well received.
Absolutely, Francis. As we spoke before the speech, we did indicate the direction the speech was going to take, and it certainly did take that direction. As we've been engaging with a number of stakeholders, that is the sense we've been getting, that South Africa really wants to use these relations to good use. In fact, it was interesting that he said the relations have had their ups and downs, but he would rather focus on the ups.
So he spoke about the promise of action coming out of COP27, and we speculated earlier that maybe King Charles would have spoken about climate change. It's something he's passionate about. But our president really pushing for action this time, and I know our minister who's been at COP27 is saying everything's promising, but we need implementation. So a call for action.
Absolutely. In fact, laying it out so clearly, Francis, saying the unfortunate part is that the poorest countries, those that don't have resources, are the ones that get most affected. So calling on the developed countries, which have industrialized long time ago. In fact, we are in this situation now because of the industrialization that has happened over time. So those people must be able to then help the less fortunate in terms of resources, because those are the ones who get affected the most. So I think the president was very, very clear. As we had predicted earlier, he did say over lunch with the king, they spoke about the issues of climate change, which the king is very passionate about. And then the fact that he was even able to reveal that kind of discussion in parliament, so made it clear that the president was very serious about what he wants to see the developed countries do. Also even referring to the issue of the just transition, reminding them of the commitments they made, particularly here in UK last year at COP26. So the speech was really direct, was on the local issues like the economy, going as far as to say we are having a reformed economy. It is opening up, touching on energy, saying there will be opportunities as the energy sector is being reformed so that we can boost our capacity.
Which is what South Africa has been saying for years. We're open for business. But I think there hasn't always been frankness about the elephants in the room. He did say that Eskom was an issue, or we're facing this huge transformation, restructuring in terms of energy. Yeah. He spoke about state capture, called it grand corruption. You said that maybe Phala would come up in private conversations. He certainly didn't mention that. Just tell us what now is on the agenda and his schedule before he leaves.
Well, after that speech, Francis, in Parliament, which obviously got the standing ovation for, they will be now retreating for the state banquet. Unfortunately, we are not able to give that to you because whoever is invited there doesn't have to carry a camera, doesn't have even to take any picture of what is happening there. So they are going to go to the state banquet and have a bit of lunch. And that's where also, remember, some of these informal engagements tend to be the most productive. So that's what is going to happen as the last act of the day today. But then tomorrow, it's back to business. He's visiting a center, a medical facility, which really looks into the kind of cooperation that the country would want to have with in a range of diseases that that the UK has been able to perhaps deal with. But besides that, he will have the meeting with the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak. In fact, in his speech now in Parliament, he did indicate that he hoped he was in the audience because there are things that he already is pushing for before he even meets with the British Prime Minister. So what that means, Francis, is that the actual business of this state visit will be then thrashed out tomorrow when he meets his counterparts in the form of the British Prime Minister. And then after that, there will be a business forum that he will address. Those business people are key, because whatever contracts, whatever companies will strike those deals, so those people will be very keen. He also did mention that last night he had a private engagement with the people who are called Friends of South Africa, people who have an interest in seeing that South Africa succeeds. And those Friends of South Africa is not just you and me, but it's people who have capital. Some of them are captains of industry, so they can be able to come in if the conditions are right in the country.
All right, busy 2 days. Thank you, Mzwandile Mbeje, our political editor, reporting on our president's visit to the UK.